Yeah, you. I'm looking at you. By the order of King Karul, I order you to watch this Throwback Thursday video. And don't play Donkey Kong. He's my enemy. Only play King Karul.
I forget how he talks, but hey guys, how's it going? Shaun Allen here. Yes, this is my King Karul amiibo right there. Pretty freaking cool. Kind of fat. Yeesh. It's got an Audi too. I also have this one over here that's, I guess, an exclusive too. It's the Piranha Plant. This guy right there. I do actually have an exclusive amiibo right here, which is celebrating the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. Woohoo! There he is right there, all pixelated, looking fabulous. But yep. Well, if you guys want to hear more of my Mario voice, here we go. Hello, it's me, Mario. Woohoo! Here we have me as the amiibo. Super Mario Bros. Celebrating 30 years. Ha ha! How's it going? Shaun Allen here. Welcome to another Throwback Thursday video. And I'm using my microphone once again because I like to hear the sound of my voice. Sometimes. I mean, it does get a little boring and a little annoying sometimes. But, you know, that's me. So, for this Throwback Thursday video, I decided to talk about something a little bit more uplifting than last week's, because last week I talked about my little rare disease slash disorder slash whatever you want to call it, the growth hormone deficiency, and that wasn't a fun one to record, let me just say, because that was a really tough time in my life, and it wasn't fun. So this actually takes place during that time, but it's more uplifting because it's about something that I used to do a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, it's not Star Wars. Sorry. But it is something a lot of fun. When I was growing up, I got to play a mascot. Now, I know what you're thinking, Shaun. You could have played a mascot when you were growing up. Those are left for, like, adults. Well, not in this case. My folks and I used to go to a church out in Sun Valley called Grace Community Church. And there were two different organizations that they were doing at the time. One of them was a Wednesday night program called Awana. Now, this is a well-known organization around the globe. And at our church, we actually had Awana there on Wednesday nights at 6:45. And my parents originally were leaders. My mom was a leader till the end, and my dad was the commander of this group. Now, for Awana at our church, it was broken up into three different groups. There was a 3 to 4 year old group called Cubbies. There was kindergarten, first grade, second grade for Sparks, and then 3rd through 6th grade was called Big Awana. Well, when I was in Big Awana, we used to have 4 different categories. 3rd grade and 4th graders were called pals for the boys. For the girls, it was chums. I think that's what it was, chums. Then for 5th and 6th grades, it was pioneers. And for the girls, it was guards. Yeah. So it was interesting at the time. But then, like a few years after I left, it became TNT, or Truth and Training. It was completely removed all aspects of pals, pioneers, chums, and guards. And the whole point of this organization slash groups is that they were trying to help kids learn Bible verses and all that. Well, with Sparks, they had a particular mascot. For Big Awana, they didn't have any mascots. Cubbies did, but Sparks also had a mascot. And I got to play this mascot. His name was Sparky. Now, Sparky was a firefly. His original concept was that he had a white head, red hat, looked like a beanie almost. He had a red vest, he had his little light, black arms, white mittens, black shoes, and black legs. He's an insect, obviously. For Cubbies, he was a brown teddy bear with a blue vest. That was it. You think of him as like Winnie the Pooh for church. So, I got to play this character around like maybe 98 and 99. So, I was really young when I started playing this character. Now, before this, we actually had a couple of other leaders at the time that used to play Sparky. And of course, he was a lot taller, right? Well, when I first started playing him, Well, let's just say that he suddenly became short. And it was very noticeable too, obviously, because the height change of Sparky used to be really tall, but now he's just really, really short. So what happened? Well, obviously, I got to play the role of Sparky for the first time at church. I debuted in our chapel, running out to the kids, and I was mobbed. Oh my gosh. I was mobbed by the kids. Some of them actually came out of the chairs to, like, literally attack me, literally. I still have visions in my head about what happened that day. It was so ridiculous. Now, the only times that Sparky ever appeared were two different events. One was called the Pancake Breakfast, and another one was called the Fairmont Fair. The Pancake Breakfast was held near the beginning of October, and it was held at a place called the Masters University. Well, back then it was called Masters College. It was out in Santa Clarita, so it was a bit of a drive, but it was still worth it because it happened early in the morning. The kids would get there with their parents, and we would have this pancake breakfast, and we would serve pancakes, eggs, sausages, a few other little goodies, and juices and all. And what was nice about it was that the university actually catered it for quite a long time, which was really nice of them. So, after everybody had a nice breakfast, they would start and gather around near the gazebo, and they would be playing some songs. And then Sparky shows up. And then they would go on a hike, and then that'd be the end of it. This other event called the Fairmont Fair is basically, it was held like every year. It was annual. Leaders and all would gather the previous day on a Friday night, and they would build these wooden contraptions or booths. And on Saturday morning, we would literally scramble to get all these different attractions open and running before it opens. Yes, think of this as like Disneyland on a huge budget being built in less than 24 hours. That's what this was. So, and literally within that 24 hours, you would have the booths built. Then in the morning on Saturday, we would go in, build the booths, like actually decorate them. Like around 11 o'clock, the guests would show up, have their fun. At around 3 o'clock, we would close. By 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, everything would be done and cleared out. Like that. It was crazy. Within a 24-hour period, that's what happened with this event. It was incredible. Well, Sparky and Cubby would show up to these events. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how come Cubby didn't show up to the pancake breakfast? Well, this is only regarding Sparks, okay? Sparks had the pancake breakfast. Cubbies didn't have the pancake breakfast. So, they didn't get the opportunity to do that. Although, the kids, they would have brothers and sisters that were in the other groups. Obviously, they were welcome, but it wasn't for the other groups. It was strictly for Sparks. For the Fairmont Fair, it was meant for everybody, basically. Which was fun. Everybody had a fun time. And Sparky and Cubby would show up to this event and entertain the guests, obviously. So, what happened? How come I stopped playing Sparky? Well, it was announced... Well, we actually left Sparks a few years prior to this, but it was announced later on that the church would end Awana and they would come up with their own program, which was pretty sad because, you know, we had a lot of really faithful leaders and they really enjoyed Sparks. Well, having it completely done and over with at church was a pretty sad and kind of upsetting thing to hear. Well, that was a long time. I got to play Sparky for about 10 years. And you're probably wondering, well, what exactly did I wear? Well, here you go. I wore a black, kind of like a turtleneck in a way, and black stockings or leggings. And there was this one main body piece where it would consist of the vest and the light. The light didn't glow or anything. It's just patterned. And I wore white gloves or mittens. The costume originally had black shoes, but I guess they got lost or something, so I decided to add the hiking shoes. And because there's actually, this is something I forgot to mention earlier. For Sparks, for kindergarten, they had their own set of books called Skipper books. when they went to first grade, they have a category called hiking or hiker boots or hikers. In second grade, they were called climbers. So the hiking boots made sense because it kind of showed the because the character, when they had the books, he had hiking boots when he was in the hiker book, so it made perfect sense that way. They had the hiking boots and everything, and I had this big white ball of a head with antennas sticking up. Near the end, they kind of drooped because they broke. There was even a wire sticking out of one of them in the end. And this one huge mouthpiece that you could barely see through. Cubby's was worse because his was a full-on fur costume. Brown fur, brown attachable gloves, and a blue vest, and this big head, but a little tiny mouthpiece. Very, very tiny. I actually tried on the mouth, or the headpiece one time, and I could barely see what in the world I was doing. Sparky's was way better compared to Sparky. Or compared to Cubby. Originally, when I was at the pancake breakfast, I would go with the kids on the hike. But once I got the hiking boots, I decided to go with them on the hike. And this is like near the beginning of fall, but it's still summertime, basically. So it got hot. It got hot pretty quickly in that costume. Especially with all the body heat around you and wearing the black and the big body piece. It got hot pretty quickly. And, you know, I always say, or whenever I hear somebody say, like, oh, it's probably easy for everybody to be wearing a mascot costume. You're dead wrong. And what was also funny, too, is that as I started growing up, Sparky also grew up. So, as I got taller, Sparky also got taller. And we were the exact same height. Which was hilarious to really see. And the first time that I walked out, when I first started playing Sparky, the costume, no joke, like, it went down below my knees, the whole main body piece. So, as I walked, it had this weird swaying motion like this. So, there's this one piece of footage that we have where I have my arms extended out like, hey, I'm here, but the body's doing this. I'm walking straight, but the body is doing this. Of course, as I got taller, the costume went above my knees and it didn't make that swaying motion anymore. And I was like, oh, that was kind of funny, but still. It was funny to see, but I was glad the swaying motion stopped because that was rather embarrassing. Oh, and here's another thing. Throughout my career of being Sparky, everybody knew who I was. Everybody knew that I was Sparky. But the funny thing is, even though they knew I was Sparky, they still interacted with Sparky. Like, they would forget that it was me, and they would still interact with Sparky. That was what was so funny and crazy at the same time. Like, imagine, I mean, they did it in Civil War, the comic series, not the movie. But in Civil War, Peter Parker announces that he's Spider-Man, right? Spoiler if you guys haven't read that series of comics. You know, they know that you're Peter Parker, even though Spider-Man, you know, you're not supposed to know its identity, right? But you still consider him as Spider-Man, right? It's like the same thing as if Clark Kent took off his glasses and everybody's like, oh, he's Superman. But they still call him Superman, even though it's Clark Kent or Kal-El, right? That's what happened with me too, and it's so bizarre, right? Did I get treated differently? No, not really. I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but you have to hand it to the people that do this for a living, literally, to be these mascots, because they go through a lot, and some of those costumes are a lot more ridiculous than the one I wore. I did it for 10 years, and it was a lot of fun. And it was hard to see it come to an end, to be honest with you, but it was worth it. I do have other pictures and video footage lying around here somewhere, and when I do find them, I might post them. We'll see, but it was a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun playing the character, and memories. Good memories. So, anyways, you guys, that is the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. It is greatly appreciated. By the way, you guys ever been to Awana before? Or maybe you were involved with Awana at some point, maybe at your church or organization? You know, maybe you guys had the mascot. I know they changed the character years later. They gave him like wings and a much smaller vest and all that. They actually gave him fingers, 4 fingers. You know, gosh, like Mickey Mouse. You know, but yeah, it was an interesting look for the character after I left. But yeah, I was going to have a little part of this video where I showed you like the different characteristics of Sparky, but I couldn't find the toys. I mean, that's one of the cool aspects of being Sparky. You get to have the toys too for free because you got to play them. So when I find them, I'll talk about that story again. But anyways, that's it for this vlog, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. It is greatly appreciated. Be sure to check out my other vlogs here on YouTube, as well as my other channels, the educational series, the design video series, and the Travel Town series. You can find me on Instagram. The link is down below in the description of this video, as well as my P.O. Box address. Thank you guys so much for watching, and seeing as they say in Hollywood, still not in Hollywood. I'm actually at the Comic Corner. That, my friends, is a wrap. Ooh, I just got a text. See you tomorrow. Now I gotta go and respond to that text.